So far, it's all been about the ladybugs. We've moved them across the screen, we've animated them, we've taken score off when they hit the cake, we've reset their position, but we haven't been able to move our character, which is the enemy guy. So we're going to move him left and right, and we're going back to the counter pattern. So we've explored moving with velocity before, but in this case, we want it to be more responsive, and we want the enemy to actually, or the character to actually stop when we let go of the key. So we're just going to use the counter pattern. We're going to adjust the X and Y, the X position of the character as we're moving left and right. So in order to do that, we need to use an if statement. So inside the move player function, we're going to use an if block along with the key down to detect when the right arrow is pressed. And then we're going to use the sprite X and the counter pattern to decrease the player's X position by 3. And then we're going to do another if block and move the player to the left when the left arrow is pressed. This time you'll need to decrease the player's X position by 3. And then, yeah, so that's all we're going to do for this one. I think we'll change the animations for the guy on the next one. So we're going to scroll down to the move player function, which is down here, right there. And we're going to put in an if block. And we're going to see the key down. And we're going to do the right one first. Okay? And then we put a little brace there, and we're going to say player.x equals player.x plus 3. And so, yep, increase. And then all we're going to do for the next part of this is just copy this code, right click and say copy. And then we're going to right click and say paste. And now instead we're going to change this to be left instead of right. So we want it to go in the other direction. So say left, and no, not left edge, just left. And then we're going to change this from plus to a minus. So now when we run our code, we can go to the left and we can go to the right. We can't go up and down, and we can't interact with the ladybugs yet, but we at least got him moving. Okay, so we finished this puzzle. Once again, they've broken this down into small, tiny baby steps for each of these puzzles, so hopefully it shouldn't be taking you long to breeze through these really quickly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move up and down. You do the same thing that you did with the other function, the other directions, but instead of doing left and right, you're going to do up and down, and you're going to do, instead of X, you're going to do Y. Oh, actually, did they say 2 or 3? I think they said 2, but maybe I wrote it down wrong. Nope, it's 3. Good job, Mr. Twining. You screwed it up. So we're going to go and change those numbers from 2 to 3 instead, because that's what it's supposed to be. Oh, I had it right. Yeah, I had the 2 for something else. Oh, it was the score. Sorry, confusing myself. So, for this level, you'll be writing code inside the move player function. Use an if block along with key down to detect when the up arrow is pressed. Use sprite.y to make the player go up by 3 using the counter pattern, and use another if block to make the player go down when the down arrow is pressed. And so now we should be able to go in all 4 directions. So all we've got to do is we're just going to copy these lines here, Control C, and then we're going to Control V. Remember, work smarter, not harder. Okay, and so hold on. If the key down is our down, then the Y is going to be increased. So player.y. And if key down is my up, then the Y is going to be decreased. Y. There we go. So now when we run, we can go up, we can go down, we can go left, We can go right. We can go diagonal. Woohoo! Isn't this great? Okay. So finish this puzzle. And we got one more. Hopefully, we're going to take care of the animations before we finish up this video. So now we change the player animations. Right now, your player is always facing the same direction. You can make things look a lot more realistic by switching between animations. Your player should switch between a left-facing and a right-facing animation, depending on which key was last pressed. Remember, you can quickly copy and edit animations inside the Animations tab. So we're going to, first of all, change directions of our sprite guy. So we have alien walking right. So we need to duplicate this entire thing. And we're going to change it to alien walk left instead here. And then we need to flip their animation. So we're going to click on the first frame and do a flip vertical. And the second frame and flip vertical as well. So now alien's walking left and alien's walking right. And they're both going at the same speed. So we should be good to go. So now in our code, we've got to change that set animation inside the move player function. So we're going to go down here to our move player. And this only is really when we do left and right. It doesn't matter when we're doing up and down because we don't have an animation for that. So we need to do player.setAnimation. And then once we put on these parentheses, we can say left is going to be alien walk left. And then we'll do the same thing here in the right. We say player.setAnimation and alien walk right. I hope you guys are using the quick fill in function like I've been doing, so you don't have to type everything in. This is kind of a combination between the blocks and the text, and the fact that you don't have to type in the entire command, and it just fills in the rest for you. So now when I run this and I go to the left, he walks to the left, and I go to the right, he walks to the right. And now I am done with puzzle number 14. Woo! Pat yourself on the back. We'll continue with puzzle 15 in the next video. Whoop-de-doo.